Happy Sabbath, everybody. For those that are visiting for this first time, my name is Thea and I am part of the Brentwood Health team. And we are so excited to be able to start sharing with you health nuggets for our divine service. It's definitely not a coincidence that you are here this morning to hear these important messages that we're going to be sharing today. We're going to start with a Bible promise. So it says in Proverbs 4:20 to 22, "My son, give attention to my words, incline your ear to my sayings, do not let them depart from your eyes, keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to all their flesh." We believe we are living in a time that is soon wrapping up as we wait for the second coming of Jesus. And so it is with great importance that not only we prepare our hearts and minds spiritually, but we also need to do it physically as well. And so with that, today's health nugget is one of many in this series of mental health. And isn't it so fitting that this week is also Mental Health Awareness Week? I was actually going to talk to you about a different topic, but we'll save that later on. So what is mental health? According to the World Health Organization, they state that it is a well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities and can cope with the normal stresses of life, and also work productively and fruitfully and can contribute to his or her community. So if there is any imbalance to any of these, mental health disorders can arise. And sadly, we are living in a time where, all these diseases are skyrocketing, whether it's autoimmune diseases or cancers, diabetes, and especially mental health has gone up the roof. But that shouldn't be a surprise to any of us, right? And if it is, I think we need to do a Bible study with Pastor Clifton. So in New Zealand, 1 in 5 people suffer from mental health illnesses. So whether it's actually, depression or anxiety or OCD, and these mental health conditions occur when these ongoing symptoms cause frequent distresses in our life and affect our ability to function. It influences the way we think, the way we feel, the way we behave, and also the way we communicate with others. And there are so many reasons as to why this can occur, and so many lifestyle risk factors as well. So just on the slides there, and hopefully you can see it, it talks about the genetics, our family history, trauma, abuse or neglect, even accidents can cause that. There's isolation, from COVID. A lot of people suffered from mental health disease there. Environmental contributors, our neurological life and our lifestyle habits as well. Nutrition, which is a big one. Hormonal, our life stresses. If we're really stressed, and like I said there as well, isolation and existing medical conditions. So later on in the series, we'll talk about exactly as to why some of these factors can cause mental health problems. And you can see there as well that all of these affect our mood. But some of these we cannot control. For example, accidents and trauma and COVID. But there is one major factor that we can definitely have control over and therefore can reduce and even prevent these conditions from happening. And I'm guessing you guys know what that is. It's what we eat and drink. So what we eat and drink actually can affect our brain. Our appetite has a major role in either positively or negatively affecting our minds. The Pen of Inspiration writes that sickness of the mind prevails everywhere. 9/10 of the disease from which men suffer have their foundation here. So how is this even possible? This is because there's a direct line between our gut and our brain. This is known as the gut-brain axis. The vagus nerve that we have is one of the biggest nerves connecting from your gut to your brain, and it sends signals in both directions. So anything that affects the gut affects our brain, and anything that affects our brain affects our gut. It's a two-way street. So if we look after our gut, we will be looking after our mind, and vice versa. So in order to have the best mental health, we need to have a healthy brain and good cognitive and social abilities. And so these include, paying attention, remembering and organizing information, solving problems and making wise decisions, and as well as being able to communicate with others verbally or non-verbally. And one crucial part of the brain is the prefrontal cortex, which is located just behind your eyes. And this works as your CEO. So in the business world, and I know there are a lot of business-minded people or people that work in the business field here, this is the Chief Executive Officer, which primarily is responsible, include making the major decisions in the company and as well as managing, the overall operations of the company. And that's the exact same thing for us in our brain. This is where our judgment and our ability to discern and make decisions, and even our spirituality and our self-control, this is where it's all housed. So our spirituality and our self-control is easily impacted by the foods we eat. So if we are eating, say, a good nutrition plant-based diet, it will positively affect our mind and spirituality. The electrical activities in our CEO will be increased, and it will reduce the carnal nature of our brain. However, if we are eating a diet that is bad for our health, our mind and spirituality is negatively affected. This is because many of the foods we eat desensitize our ability to make wise decisions. It creates brain fog, and so how are we supposed to make decisions for eternity if our brain is really foggy? And it actually excites, our animal desires and these passions that we first had, because of sin. And this easily causes us to fall into temptation and sin as well. So you can start to see why it is so important to protect our brains, spiritually and as well as physically. And I haven't even covered the rest of the part of the brain yet. So how can we have a healthy brain? That's a big question, right? We need to have a healthy gut. And how can we have a healthy gut? You probably know the answer. We need to have a healthy brain. It goes round in circles because they're both connected. Remember, it's a two-way street. But you're probably saying, okay, Thea, get to the point. So what is the remedy? And this is from the Pen of Inspiration as well. And it says, pure air, sunshine, abstemiousness, which is temperance, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, and trust in divine power. These are the true remedies. And this is what you commonly known as New Start. She also notes that nature's process of healing and upbuilding is gradual, and to the impatient it seems really slow. But the surrender of hurtful indulgences, it really requires sacrifice. But in the end, it will be found that nature, untrammeled, does its work wisely and well, and those who persevere in obedience to its laws will reap the reward in health of body and health of mind. And that's found in Ministry of Healing. So we will be taking the brain into New Start. And next week we'll be starting on nutrition. So we'll be sharing you health nuggets on how you can protect your CEO and be better equipped to making wise decisions for eternity. Have a blessed Sabbath.